You can probably guess who's first, but I bet you can't guess who's seventh. It's time for the Concacaf Power Rankings May 2025 edition. My name is John Arnold. I write a newsletter called Getting Concacaf, telling stories from all around the region. You can find it on Substack. I'd love if you subscribe, and if you'd subscribe to this channel where I'm going to put more of my storytelling in video form. Today we're going to run down the top 10 men's national teams in the region for May, ahead of June's big World Cup qualification matches. That's when we'll update these rankings next after those games. At number 10, it's Guatemala. After their fantastic Gold Cup in 2023, it seemed like Luis Fernando Tena's team would be even higher in these rankings. And the truth is they had their opportunities. Los Chapines had a difficult draw in Concacaf Nations League play, but couldn't get it done against regional rival Costa Rica. And no shade on Isaiah Jones at all, but conceding a hat trick and losing to Guyana in the first leg of Gold Cup qualification, needing that 2-0 victory back in Guatemala City to get even into the Continental Championship doesn't exactly say that it's a team headed for the 2026 World Cup. Damian Rivera and other reinforcements are arriving, but for now, Guatemala is just barely in the top 10. At number 9, it's Trinidad and Tobago. The vibes are good in Trinidad and Tobago, and it's the first time in a while that we've been able to say that. Hiring Soccer Warriors legend Dwight York as the manager has definitely made an impact, and they convincingly won both legs of their Gold Cup qualification series against Cuba. To keep pushing higher, they're going to need some good results, and they need some young players to emerge because the depth just doesn't seem to be there when you compare it to other regional rivals. At number 8, it's Honduras. I can already guess what the Catrachos fans are going to be saying in the comments. Honduras at 8, come on, you gotta be kidding me. We smoked Bermuda in the Gold Cup qualifiers. We beat Mexico in the first leg of the Concacaf Nations League quarterfinals. And that's all true, but when you look at the actual way that the matches have been developing, that this team has been playing on the field, despite some of the talent that they have, Luis Palma, the first among them, Honduras just doesn't seem to be measuring up to what their standard probably should be. I mean, yes, eventually 5 goals came, but Honduras was down 2-0 at the half in Bermuda. And Mexico was able to wipe its 2-0 deficit clean and win 4-0 in the second leg. No matter where you are in the power rankings right now, the goal is to get to the 2026 World Cup. Right now, the Rueda knows he has his work cut out for him, but the path is absolutely there. It's just up to Honduras to take it. Next, it's Haiti at number 6. You remember the last time Haiti lost? It was all the way back in October of 2023 against Jamaica in the Concacaf Nations League. They didn't lose a single match in 2024 and kept the good rhythm going by beating Azerbaijan 3-0 in a friendly, partly used to celebrate 100 years of the Haitian Federation. Despite those good results and the long history, it definitely seems like Haiti is flying under the radar, partly because of the difficult political situation that they're in, partly because not a lot of English speakers know who some of these players are. But with World Cup qualification matches against Aruba and Curacao, then a Gold Cup group that includes the United States, I definitely think more people are going to be talking about Haiti as soon as next month. At number 6, it's Costa Rica. That's right, Piojo Herrera. A 13-1 aggregate victory against Belize in the Gold Cup qualification round is not good enough to get you into the top 5 in the region. Win that June 10th showdown against Trinidad and Tobago in World Cup qualification, and maybe we'll talk. Right now, it looks like Costa Rica is getting back to the team that we were used to seeing in 2014, 2018. There's a lot of great young players coming through. Some of that old generation is still sticking around, including rumors that Keylor Navas might be back with the national team. I don't know that they totally need him. They've got good goalkeepers. They've got good attacking players. It's a team that has a bright future. Their present right now, though, is just below the top 5. So without further ado, let's get into the top 5. And at number 5, it's the Reggae Boys of Jamaica. The alarm bells were ringing a little bit when they needed a late goal to get a 1-1 draw with St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the first leg of their Gold Cup qualification match, but they eventually turned the tie around in the second leg. More importantly, Jamaica historically has performed well when they come together for a long time, when everyone is happy, singing off the same hymn sheet. And I think that's what's going to happen this summer. They're putting together a squad for the Unity Cup in London that will give them 2 games at the end of May to prepare for the World Cup qualifiers in June. And then they'll stay together after those World Cup qualifiers to face the Gold Cup. It's a tough Gold Cup group, but it's exactly the kind of competition the Reggae Boys should be able to beat if they're going to achieve their goal of getting back to the World Cup for the first time since 1998. At number 4, it's the United States. I don't know that there can be too much discussion about this rating, although it seems a little extreme because I might have had the US number 1 at various points of 2025. But you finished 4th in the Concacaf Nations League and do so looking as poor as the US did in the semifinal against Panama and the 3rd place game against Canada, and what choice is there but to put the US in the 4th slot of the power rankings? They haven't done so poorly that I want to drop them lower. I do think the talent is still there. I still think Mauricio Pochettino will be able to turn it around and have a good performance at the 2026 World Cup. But right now, today, the U.S. looks like it's the fourth best team in the Concacaf region. At number 3, it's Panama. Panama made the final of the last Concacaf Nations League. They made the final of the most recent Gold Cup. They've been dominant against Costa Rica as the best team in Central America, and it seems like they're getting the better of the United States every time they meet in competitive action as well. So why don't I have Panama second in the rankings? I still think that Panama is a team that's overly dependent on one or two players. That can be fine. Coco Carrasquilla is fantastic. He was the best player in the Gold Cup. He was one of the best players in the Nations League. And they actually have shown they can cover some absences. Michael Amir Murillo missed the Nations League, and yet didn't seem to bother Panama too much. They didn't have him as an outside defender. Yet I'm still concerned about the depth that Panama has compared to its rivals for the Gold Cup. The most likely other teams to lift the trophy, the North American teams that are already qualified. Panama's got to go through World Cup qualification. That's the #1 priority. So balancing that with a tournament like the Gold Cup, I think is going to be difficult. Yes, that means at number 2, I've got Canada. I do think that if Canada was playing Panama in the semifinals, that they would have been making the final and played that game against Mexico. It was a really good semifinal between those two teams as well, decided by the smallest of margins. That's how you can tell that these teams are not too different. While losing Alphonso Davies to injury might have been something Canada had baked into the Gold Cup, since he probably was going to play Club World Cup anyway, I do think that those are the types of things that can make it more difficult for Canada to finally lift that first trophy since the 2000 Gold Cup. And that should be the priority now. There's no victory in being second in the power rankings and finishing 3rd place at the Nations League. This is a team whose fans should now be demanding trophies. They have to show that they're one of the best teams in the region, and the best teams in the region lift silverware. That being said, I think Canada's in a really good place. That's why they're number 2. And number 1, there's no doubt about it, it's Mexico. I have plenty of questions about whether Mexico can stay on this perch, but they're right now the holders of the Nations League, they're the holders of the Gold Cup, and they're the best team in the CONCACAF region. I give a lot of credit to Javier Aguirre, how he's managed some of the up-and-coming Mexican players, but not thrown out some of the veterans who clearly have been able to help Mexico. Raul Jimenez might not even have been called in by some previous coaches. Aguirre has made him one of the most important pieces in the national team, but so too is Santi Jimenez, who's struggling with the national team. Just because he's not scoring goals doesn't mean Aguirre can't find a role for him. I think he's going to be giving emotional boosts this summer to a guy like Edson Alvarez with his club future uncertain. He's clearly a leader with this Mexico team. It's good work being done by Aguirre, and for now, Mexico is clearly the best team in the CONCACAF region. Well, thanks for making it this far. I hope you click subscribe, and I hope you do jump into the comments. We can chat a little bit about why your team is too low or maybe too high if you hate your team. Leave me a comment and follow for more on the entire CONCACAF region.